Welcome to Shardcast, the Brandon Sanderson podcast. We're a bunch of mega fans giving you the news, discussion, and of course, a whole lot of opinions about Brandon's works and the Cosmere. I'm Eric, and joining me is Ian.
Hey, I'm Callsign Weary.
We're talking about Skyward this week, guys. Also joining me is Grace.
I'm Callsign Gatorgirl.
Callsign Empress of Gators. Also joining us, not knowing what New York State is and thinking to the east of New York State is the ocean, is Ben.
I'm Callsign, and I'm not going to stop saying that joke. I'm also Overlord Jebus on the forums.
At least you didn't go with hey, I'm Brandon Sanderson on the forum. That one time. Also joining me is another an un-American person, Shannon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Callsign Gray.
Technically, she is American because she is
United
North
States.
America.
Yeah,
No,
right,
we don't
she's
say
still-
that. We say North American.
Oh.
You're all colonials to me.
That's actually really funny. That is really funny to me. This week, guys, we are going to dig into more of the lore of Skyward and also our predictions for Starsight. So we did our reactions podcast, which will be linked below. But we didn't really dig into the lore and mythology much, and we touched a little bit on what we want to see in the next book, but we're going to go full hog here. And I believe Grace forgot to mention something last time on the podcast about Jorgen, and I know she's going to talk about Jorgen a lot today. That's fine. But
Is this a segue for me to talk about my hopes for Jorgen in the next book?
Yes.
Okay. So, in Skyward, Jorgen didn't have too much of like a character arc, which is totally understandable. We needed Skyward for Spencer to realize how great he is. But my hope is that in the next book, Jorgen has an arc where he like stands up to his parents and he's like, no, I want to be a pilot. This is what I'm meant to do. And he becomes a leader and he really gets a chance to just prove himself. And, his whole thing in Skyward was about how, Spencer's more free because she doesn't have the same expectations that I have from my parents. And that really bothered him. But he didn't feel like he was able to step out of that. So that's what I'm hoping in the next book happens. I'm hoping he gets a bigger story arc and he has more developments.
I totally agree. That was a great point, but I still thought you were going to do the joke that we talked about before we recorded.
You want me to make the joke?
I do. Yes.
We all want you to make the joke.
When have I never been? Have I jokingly said we should do a thing and not be serious? I'm always serious when that happens.
And I have decided that that Jorgen's 18th birthday happened in Skyward, and that we just didn't hear about it. My headcanon.
So that he would be legal to be with, correct?
I am also 18.
It should be mentioned that
for that joke.
Everyone in the podcast, you're the only person that's actually close to the age of the characters.
Yeah.
So,
It's true. And you like Jorgen, so that makes sense. Speaking of Jorgen, we're on the subject. Do you want a romance between Jorgen and Spencer?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it works with friendship first. That's a tentative yes. That's a yes with conditions.
Spencer hasn't earned him yet.
By the end of
That's up for
four,
debate.
there will be
That's
a
up for
romance.
debate.
Wow.
I think
Grace
they're
has
great.
some very high standards for Jorgen. Okay.
I think it's going to be a working relationship first, isn't it? Because they are in the same flight. I guess they're going to continue being in the same flight. I figure.
Perhaps we don't know. That's the whole thing. Because now that Mbot is out in the open, I wonder if Mbot being made for like solo missions and everything.
Oh yeah.
That Spencer might not even be a part of a regular flight anymore.
That is entirely possible.
I don't know if it will happen in the next book. Because I do like the whole friendship. Slow burn. But eventually.
I don't know. I like them being friends. I don't know.
The hug was really meaningful to me. I
agree.
That was like a really powerful moment of like they're not just connecting as just coworkers. They're like, this was a very like personal, vulnerable moment. And I was feeling it. I was like, okay. If he does go for romance with these two, like I would be down right like after that.
Jorgen does give off love interest vibes.
Oh,
yeah,
big
he
time.
does.
Yeah.
But
100%.
I don't know. I never thought those two were particularly romantic. I don't know.
I've just
like,
seen
that
this
just wasn't
trope
their
so many
relationship.
times.
Yeah.
Like it was just sort of like the guy who shows up and he appears to be a jerk at first, but turns out to be like an actual great guy, and like they both grow together.
Yeah, that's all true. But I just really liked
You just
that
didn't
Skyward.
see it.
I didn't
Okay.
see it. I liked it that didn't get a romance. In Skyward. It reminds me of Pacific Rim, where the two main characters do not get together, and I'm like, great, that was wonderful, because it totally could have been different, but it just wasn't, and that was wonderful.
And then they hugged at the end.
And then
Love
that's true. That is, and I like that.
They
That's
kissed in the
refreshing.
novel.
Wow.
It doesn't Mako Mori like watch the guy Raleigh? Is it Raleigh?
Raleigh.
Like shirtless and it's like
Welcome to the Pacific Rim podcast.
There is no second movie.
I didn't even see the second movie, and I don't think I need to.
I didn't even realize the second movie came out yet.
Yeah,
It came out like 3 months ago.
Don't. It doesn't. It's not real.
Okay, great,
Yes.
cool. Then I will pretend and just say, Pacific Rim, that was good. Maybe it should get a sequel sometime. Maybe.
It's getting a Netflix anime prequel.
That sounds actually really awesome.
Are me and Ben like the big like Pacific Rim fans here?
Oh, I like Pacific Rim. No, that sounds great. That sounds great.
Yeah.
But I heard bad reviews, and I didn't want that to tarnish my view of an initial good first movie, right? So,
From Pacific Rim.
yeah, moving on from Pacific Rim, let's talk about what. Why are you so green, Ian?
I will just point out that this is a green wall. I have a green chair and I have a green shirt.
Your camera is like legit like making it more green. And you know what? I'm gonna leave this in the episode so you guys can just hear that. No wonder your webcam's trying to do white balance and it's just like, no, you're gonna be green. So comment below. But let's talk.
Green is my favorite color. Hence the green
well,
wall,
I don't
green
know
chair,
if people
green
want
shirt.
you to be a plant when they watch the podcast, but whatever. That's fine. Ian, secretly plant person, confirmed.
I do love cultivation.
Let's talk about the top thing you want in Starsight. Let's start. Grace already began.
Thank you, Grace.
Yeah.
Great start.
Or Jorgen, that's what I want.
Or Jorgen.
You didn't even like just straight in the intro. It's like I'm getting my Jorgen comments in right now.
I am really excited to see Spensa start learning psychotics. That's probably like the plot thread that I'm most excited to see develop. Is that she just got her first real big taste of it and kind of like what it could do. The door opened to the rest of the universe, and now she has to learn to actually control it because she can't right now. It's just a thing that she can do, but I'm really excited to see what happens and if teleporting across the universe is going to be something that's even on the table in this next book.
I'm with you. That's exactly what I was going to say, and I just want to see more psychotics, and I want to see Sense of London, specifically Mind Blades, because as I said last time we talked about Skyward, is I really like the idea and the name of Mind Blades, and so just do that. More of those.
I want more lore about psychotics.
I want more lore about the universe. Just like there's so much that needs to be said with the universe. I want to know about the aliens. I want to know about the history of humanity. I want to know what changed so that the aliens could fight off this human empire that clearly went around for centuries because Detritus was ancient. We'll talk about Detritus. But there's so much there, the history of the world and the universe, and we have instant teleportation, Shannon. I think we're going to go to places and learn about other species a lot. Like, I think we have to.
I really hope so, because that's like the thing with knowing that this is in the Defending Elysium universe, and knowing that planetary teleportation was a thing that was established eons ago, perhaps in this time and place. Like, is this something that the aliens can still do, or is how much time has passed? Like, have things even been lost, or have things developed even further? I would be surprised if this is a thing that we know exists in the universe, but we don't get to see in the next one. Definitely broader universe, I expect.
Called Starsight. So I would assume that we are going be in stars, and
I kind of took the
increased psychotics.
The name Starsight is almost, to me, evocative of psychotonic sensing.
Yeah, no, it totally is.
So I'm hoping that means we'll get to see kind of Spencer learning that, because in the Defending Elysium, Jason, we don't see the learning process because Jason already knows everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right,
I think seeing that discovery and that process will be really interesting.
And I wonder if it also might refer to the
eyes. That's what I was about to say,
that's
Ben.
My thought.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the eyes and the stars, Starsight. Yeah. I mean, like maybe this is actually, maybe the eyes is something Spencer not only like learn what it is, but maybe she could learn to do. Maybe this is an ability. Maybe it's related to an ability that psychotonics. I don't know.
Should I go into my theory about the eyes that I have?
Yeah,
I think Ian really wants to.
Do it.
But...
Oh no. I want Jebus to say his theory before I talk about
all right, great.
Okay.
So there was a few references to listening to the stars, and I figured that Brendan might have been listening to like the music of the spheres when he was writing this part. And the whole eyes thing, I feel like the way I've been thinking of it is obviously you've got like billions of stars which will have millions and billions and trillions of beings that live on them, and there's going to be psychotonics on those planets. And so I figured the way I was seeing the eyes was it's the psychotonics on those planets orbiting those stars, and it's those trillions of psychotonics. And because it's FTL communications, everyone's going to be able to hear everyone all the time. They're going to be able to see everyone all the time. And so when Spencer kind of pops her head into this nowhere place, which we need to talk about, when she pops her head into this nowhere place, everyone in the galaxy suddenly turns to look at her being like, oh damn, a human's just popped up in here, guys. Like, that's how I've kind of been seeing it. It's the other psychotonics across the galaxy looking to being like, oh damn, that humans that aren't supposed to be doing this are totally doing this. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So
Yes.
as mentioned in the Reactions podcast, The Eyes is also the title of a novella Brandon started to write in 2016, which was a space opera seeking to explain the Fermi paradox, which is, if there are aliens out there, why aren't we receiving radio signals from them? So he didn't write very much of it, only about a single chapter, but he did send it out to the Writing Excuses Patreon, so I read it. So
I've read it as well.
And basically the reason that there is no radio communication that we're detecting is because there is something that is out there referred to as the Eyes that destroys and attacks civilizations that send out random radio waves.
Okay.
So
like
is this like the what's it called, that anime Tengen Takawa Gurren Lagann? Is this like times 10? Like there's the human level of like we don't want to attract the attention of them higher, and then on the galactic level we have civilization, but even they don't want to get too big and attract the attention of the even bigger. There's a bigger fish, like
entirely possible. But so we're on a like alien planet in that short little snippet.
Yeah.
And everything is hardwired. Everything is plug in. Nothing is transmitted wirelessly. And the main character is a human, obviously, because we're human.
Yeah.
And all the aliens are like really weirded out by the humans rather, because humanity was attacked by the Eyes not once but twice. It's like how most civilizations learn after the first time. Hey, maybe wireless signals are a bad thing.
Yeah, like there's a line where the main character is saying that something's being annoying because it'd be really nice to have wireless transmission, but if they do, then all civilization would be destroyed, so I guess I won't do that. Like,
so like the people on Alta, even they having this like deep-seated like habit of not doing anything wirelessly, keeping everything on hard disk essentially.
Yeah.
mhm.
That they like that maybe this was a habit they kept from their human predecessors on like from the Defiant, from the
Maybe.
Empire.
I
Yeah.
feel like that doesn't work in this universe.
I don't think
if that's the case.
The original
Yeah.
idea, it's not 100% plopped into this universe. I think it has
Yeah.
to do with the cytonic faster than light communication.
Well, because like I do see it, because there was that line about why would they be trying to hide from the eyes if it wasn't something at least a little
Yeah,
sinister.
Mbot mentions the eyes.
They're
that,
at
like,
least enemies.
you
But
you
if-
should not use wireless communication. Like that is kind of in there.
Yeah.
Oh, he did mention wireless communication.
Yeah,
didn't he?
Mbot was
Yeah.
like, yeah. Like
He's
there's
like,
a
he
certain
can
level
tell.
maybe of
Like Mbot sort of was able to tell that that Alta Base has a lot of technological stuff that he can't access because it's not wireless, but he can tell that Alta has more than what Spencer thinks that they have up until that point. There was that like in terms of information, in terms of like their actual technological ability. That's the first time we're introduced to the idea that maybe Alta has more than what they're telling, but not just because they want to keep their people in line, but also for safety reasons. And that was sort of the vibe I got.
And a theory that just occurred to me is, what if the eyes are part of the reason why the tide of the war turned against the humans?
Because Jason certainly didn't seem to know anything about that. That wasn't.
No.
that
wasn't
was
in
a
Defending
theory that I
Elysium.
had as well, honestly.
There was no mention of any kind of eyes or anything in Defending Elysium.
Yeah.
And
No.
one thing I did notice was that Jason doesn't spend time in the nowhere place. It's actually very, like it's a very short time, and he can barely stand it. He jumps once and he like tries to get out of there as soon as possible. But like what Spencer does is different. Like it seems that Mbot and like what she and her dad have done is like they seem to be going into that nowhere place and spending actually kind of a lot of time there. So it's possible that the eyes existed, but we just didn't get a chance to see them because Jason was going so fast that maybe he wasn't aware of it, or that they're a new thing in the war, like Ian just said.
Or humanity just hadn't attracted their attention.
Or that.
They
you know
weren't
what-
watching because they didn't know the humans were there.
Weren't they mentioned
Oh.
as being ancient? The eyes? Like Spencer refers to them as ancient.
I'll have to do a word search.
I know I'm looking for it too right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking, do you know what? Oh, you're going.
But ancient doesn't necessarily mean all-knowing.
No, what I'm thinking is that in Defending Elysium, they did not exist, and they have woken up. Right? And
Do you think this
and-
was a new thing for humans? Because we know that the human empire was ancient.
Well, I mean, it may be different. Well,
That's my crazy theory that I'm going to posit is that the eyes are related to human cytonics. But I'm not going to die on this hill.
There's
like
a theory forming in my mind.
I
Here's how it
think
goes.
that the eyes are some ancient, super powerful cytonic being that like monitors that cytonic stuff, and I think the humans being so aggressive and using that technology, they woke them up from their slumber, and that's what made the aliens. It helped turn the tide against the humans.
I'm thinking if you've got a human species that's reached a technological level that they can build Dyson spheres, because I keep saying this is a really highly advanced civilization that has to be able to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then a galactic level threat that basically is the reasoning for the Fermi paradox would be a great reasoning to build a Dyson sphere, because you also need a reason to build one. You don't just, So having like a whole
that's
fortress
a
planet.
super good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
because it could block radio signals from going out.
Exactly,
But you could still use it on the
exactly,
planet.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so the way I'm seeing it is humans expanded. They probably found out about the eyes because all the galaxy was like, dudes, stop using so much radio waves. Like you're going to attract the eyes, and we don't want that. But then humans carried on doing it, and they're like, oh, we're fine. We're going to build Dyson spheres. It's going to be great. We're all going to have a great time. And then the rest of the galaxy was like, no, stop. This is bad. And then either the coalition of the galaxy attacked them, or the eyes attacked, and the coalition also attacked them at the same time, and it kind of just wrecked the humans.
I found Mbot's quote about the eyes. Can I mention that?
Yeah. Do it.
Spencer asks about the eyes, and Mbot says, the eyes, I have no idea what that is. There's a hole in my memory banks there, huh? I remember this quote, use physical cords for data transfer, avoid broadcasting, and put shielding around faster processors. Do otherwise risks the attention of the eyes.
Okay, there we go. Maybe that was what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even back in the Human Empire, when Mbot was built, that was one of the first.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
There's also a line where I was about to say Yasna, but Yasna is not in this one.
Not in this
Where
one.
Yasna went to Detritus and was like, yes.
There's a point at once Spencer is up in the sky where she's confused about why the Krell are using the superluminary communication in the nowhere. It's like, can't they tell that there's something in there watching them?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So that's sort of like why I started to wonder, like, if this is like specifically related to humans, psychotics, like maybe they'd done something.
Yeah.
I don't want to lean too much on like the Patreon story, but I do find it interesting that the eyes and the humans do seem to be a little bit more antagonistic, perhaps, or maybe there's something about the way humans are doing things that attracts the attention a little bit more than maybe how the aliens have been doing things.
Yeah,
it sounds like a great antagonist for a 4-book series.
Yeah.
More than
yeah, I mean that. You know what's funny about Skyward? There's no real antagonists. Ironsides, it's like, well, I can understand her perspective.
She's definitely an antagonist.
There
are antagonists.
She's not a
no
villain.
villains. You're right. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. But and like the Krell, like,
evil.
I kind of see your perspective here. You know.
If I knew what she knew, I would probably think the same. It's sort of like that would make me an antagonist in Spence's story, but not an antagonist to Alta or something. Like.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I read the eyes, I'm like
freaking out.
I know where
You
this
had
is
the
going.
info.
Yeah, because there was it was a story Brandon had thrown out, mentioned it in the State of Sanderson, and then nothing. And then I read this book, and I'm like, yeah,
This is it.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, that's sort of like what I thought. Like, before we got onto this, like more talk about the eyes started coming up. I originally thought that the overarching story was going to be less about a bigger enemy and more about humanity trying to prove to the aliens, like ending the war between them differently. And I still think that's going to be a plot point, but maybe not like the big enemy. Which is like why I think like Spencer being in a position of like the super warlike wants to kill all her enemies and all that, and being the actual perfect like example of the barbarian humans, being the exact kind of person who has to change and like show the aliens something different about humanity in order to stop them from killing them, which I do think is going to happen. But
I think the line about you also have to shield your more advanced processors is also interesting.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's not just radio, it's also, more advanced AI.
Yeah, and maybe that's why aliens didn't progress their tech so much.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah. Maybe.
Humans
there was a
didn't
reason
care.
for it. Yeah.
I found the thing about the ancient line that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And so this literally happens at the end when Spencer does her cytonic jump.
Okay.
There. And I'll just read for full context. In that moment between heartbeats, I felt myself enter someplace dark. A place not just black, a place of nothingness, where matter did not and could not exist. In that moment between heartbeats, I somehow stopped being, yet didn't stop experiencing. A field of white appeared around me, a billion stars, like eyes opening at once, shining upon me. Ancient things stirred, and in that moment between heartbeats, they not only saw me, but they knew me.
That is so interesting. Like the eyes are the stars.
Well,
Like
in
she
this
makes
place of
that
nothingness.
connection. In
Yeah.
like her connection. She doesn't say like they are stars. Well, actually, she does say they are stars.
Yeah, that's why I figured they were the stars. They were the minds living on those stars. But this whole the eyes short story thing seems a lot more likely, in my opinion, now.
Like
actually.
the
Like-
ancient things and like patrolling this nothingness, like that is reading that's kind of chilling, honestly. I
Like
have
the
like
fact that like this isn't a dark space. This is she says a field of white. This is a light space. Like it's the light from the stars. And then she says like eyes. They are stars that are like eyes. And so it's sort of like interesting that their minds made that comparison, like Chaser did. Like that was, I think even did Grant? I can't remember. You know, like that was like the connection between the light of those stars and it's just it's just like I'm so gripped by this.
And it's light in this place of nothingness where nothing could exist, and they're open. These eyes are opening, shining like stars, but watching like eyes. Like
They
whoa.
appear. The billions of stars appear when she does.
There is Grand mentions like the stars speaking, like
Oh, this is so
they
good.
said like the stars speak to us.
This would explain something that I've been thinking. If you have the ability to teleport and with psychic powers, and say for example, from the sounds of things, these abilities are very common in the alien species. It sounds like, or a lot more common than it is in humans.
Maybe.
If you had the ability to teleport whenever you wanted, why would you ever walk anywhere? Why would you not just be like teleporting all the time constantly? There's a sci-fi series called the Hyperion Cantus. I don't want to spoil the Hyperion Cantus, so actually I probably shouldn't have brought it up. Really good series of books. But like when you have a large population of when you have the ability to personally teleport by yourself, that would fundamentally change.
Why do you
the way
need spaceships?
Why would you need spaceships? It would fundamentally change the way you interact with the universe. Like a day-to-day life would never be the same, and it
that's
would
my
explain.
dream.
I know it'd be
Teleport.
amazing.
Like I can just teleport to wherever I need to be. If I'm waking up in the morning, I don't have to get up and go to the bathroom. I teleport to the bathroom.
We would not have vehicles. Like
we wouldn't have vehicles. You wouldn't have
Would you
spaceships.
even have
we
roads?
wouldn't have roads. Yeah,
We wouldn't have roads.
And actually, screw it. I'm going to spoil the end of the Hyperion Cantus. So if you're currently reading that,
I'll put
like,
a
stop
spoiler
listening.
warning. Spoiler warning. How many books
non-Brandon.
is this? How many books are you spoiling here?
There are 4 books.
4.
There's Hyperion, the Fall of Hyperion, Endymion, and the Rise of Endymion. At the end of...
well, I'll put a spoiler warning. Feel free to move forward in the video for when I put the spoiler
lights.
warning. Yeah, no, not flashing lights. No epilepsy will be had on this show today.
The way that the Rise of Endymion ends is it unlocks the ability for every human to immediately teleport all the time, so they don't have to bother with all the spaceships and the like jumping between worlds that causes so many issues in politics. And it like completely fundamentally changes everything. Like with the idea of like privacy completely goes away because anyone could just pop into your room at any time.
Right.
And like it's such a huge thing. And then the way that they teleport in that is actually described as very similarly to the way that Brandon uses it in talking about like the stars speaking to them and like the music of the spheres and all that kind of thing. And so if, for example, when you're trying to teleport, there's something big and scary in the place you have to go to teleport, and that's like a bad thing, then it would understandably make it so that why isn't everyone just teleport around all the time?
Right, exactly. Right.
Why build spaceships? Because you want to teleport as many people at the same time as you can.
And like minimize teleportation as much
you want
as
to
possible.
minimize the teleportation because you don't want to attract the attention of the eyes. So that actually makes sense.
do you
I do like
wonder that in Defending Elysium, the aliens didn't seem to have any sort of anxiety about it? They wanted humans to be ready before they did this. And they were talking about primary intellect, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or primary
intelligence.
Thank you, primary intelligence. And they basically wanted like humans to broadly, like all generally reach primary intelligence before they started doing FTL stuff. before they started really using psychotics. And we know Jason sort of did not let that happen that way. I wonder if there was a little bit more to primary intelligence than just being willing and able to lock away dissidents.
I wonder if, because she describes the eyes as ancient, what if the galactic community had forgotten about them because they hadn't been an issue for so long?
What if it was new to them?
I don't think so. If you have, again, I'm kind of assuming that everyone in the alien species is a lot more psychotically capable. If you have dissidents in your species, and every single individual has the ability to end your civilization by teleporting too much and tracking the eyes, you probably want to lock away those people forever.
Well, I think that they don't fully understand why they're doing this anymore. There's like, oh, we just lock up all the dissidents. They don't remember that it's to keep away these civilization-ending beings.
I'm cheating a little bit here because Brandon said in blogs about Defending Elysium that he wanted to write a story which had as many like interesting concepts he finds in sci-fi as possible, and I really enjoyed finding where he'd got like these concepts have all appeared in sci-fi elsewhere, and I don't know whether he's read these books. Well, I know some of them he definitely has.
Defending Elysium is packed with so much.
It's so packed, and
you can't read that story fast. You kind of have to take your time because it is really packed and dense.
And the idea of intelligence is being based on how much of a risk an individual is to the civilization is from is it I cannot remember it's from John Haldeman. Cannot remember the name. And it was essentially the species like judging humanity it was God basically. I'm sorry, I'm going on loads of tangents here.
That's all good. All good.
Tell us about sci-fi, reader. I only have time to read Brandon Sanderson books, which is very embarrassing.
Oh yeah, I should have mentioned this last podcast. I am primarily a sci-fi reader. Brandon's pretty much my only fantasy I've read. I've read like a little bit around, but I am primarily a sci-fi guy. Yeah. And one of the concepts from this book was that you kind of have the first level of intelligence, which is when a person is able, which is the base level, which is one person is able to kill another person. Then you have the next level, which was like one person's able to kill a lot of people, like when you kind of invent guns and like swords and stuff like that. Then you have the next one, which is one person's able to end like civilizations, which is like nuclear weapons. And then you have the next level, which humanity hadn't achieved, which is each individual is able to end the whole civilization, but doesn't. And like, that's like that kind of intelligence kind of reminded me of that.
I have to reread Defending Elysium because that's been a while.
Because he was, I think they did it in reverse order because they were talking about the 4 orders of intelligence that when Varvax was talking to Jason and being like, there are people like you of primary intelligence, but then we also see people of your species like living at the same time as you who are of like the 3rd or even the 4th intelligence. And they seem like really shocked by that humanity could like be living at all levels. There could be individuals of all levels at all times. So that's interesting. Maybe an interesting comparison there.
Can I also make a quick joke that we found where Vax is? It's where the Varvax live. Okay, great, cool. Thanks.
You're
welcome.
A joke that Detritus was Vax.
Yeah, there you go.
Funny.
Gotta get those Shardcast memes in. I really like all of this. I also really like the idea of Detritus being constructed to protect against the eyes. Why build a fortress world? Hey, we can shield our faster processors when we make a giant frickin' sphere around.
And why there's stuff underground? That's just more shielding.
Oh, that's true. So how about we talk about Detritus a little bit, Ben? Cool. They have Igneous uses something called the apparatus to construct their spacecraft that they just kind of found. And it has human writing stuff in it, so it's human tech. It's just older human tech, which means it's very old, and the human empire existed a long time, clearly, and was very advanced, as you said, Ben. Yeah. Like, not alien tech.
Like everything on Detritus that existed before is always like referred to as ancient. When I was looking at that ancient word search I was just sort of like, it was like all like the ancient tunnels, the ancient the ancient rebel field, the ancient city, the ancient everything that existed before.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's just not the apparatus. Like other caverns have similar things.
Yeah, it just seemed like but the apparatus.
The apparatus
was
is like the biggest and most important one. But
that still exists, maybe, or that they found. I don't know.
Yeah.
Was the cavern that grew the crops from the agricultural ship Bountiful? Was it mentioned whether that uses like ancient apparatus to grow crops, or is that using the ship's equipment? Like
I want to say there was something like the apparatus for water. I vaguely remember that.
Okay, that does sound vaguely familiar as well.
It would be a reason for it to be called Bountiful then, right? To have those, and for Igneous to be the warlike one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
One thing that I'm really curious about when it comes to Detritus is, and I don't see people talking about this.
Hey, all right.
For both good old Zine and Spencer, when they started Chaser, when they started awakening up to their psychotics, they both described the debris field opening up for them as if it was calling them to leave. Yeah. And so I find that really interesting that I don't know if there's something that I don't know if the debris field is alive. That might be a bit too far gone, but something manipulating the debris field so that when psychotics become like awakened on Detritus, it's almost like, hey, you can escape now, get out.
They have psychotic controls, maybe.
Yeah.
Some of it.
Or maybe the Krell do it on purpose to try and draw psychotics out of the Detritus and then drive them crazy with their minds.
I'm not sure they can control it, but it does feel like some kind of something's aligning.
It happens to if it happened just to Spencer, I'd be like, it's a coincidence, but it happens to both her dad.
It happens
and
to Chaser too. Yeah.
And I'm like
I'm just like, I feel like it's probably not the Krell. I would more believe that it is something that Spencer is accidentally doing. Even before, she reaches a level of like accessing it without being conscious of accessing it. When she's predicting like the Krell's movements, she's hearing the commands. In the kind of instant, like before she's kind of aware of it, it's already working. I could see that.
And drawing the attention of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of something. Yeah. That's very true. I will definitely be upset if we don't learn more about Detritus. But honestly, if we need to learn more about the eyes to realize that it's a fortress world against that, I'm like, oh yeah. Maybe we just stumbled upon a book 3 or 4 reveal right here, guys. Maybe we did. Or maybe Brandon has, even more there. Like that. Who knows how vast
this is like a chapter 2 reveal of book 2. Like
this could be the end of book 4. This could be right at the beginning of who knows. We don't know what the scope of this.
There were also shipyards up there, which is kind of interesting. How it wasn't quite. It was like a bunch of concentric shells, so it wasn't like usually Dyson spheres are like one contiguous thing, right?
We've never built one, so they could be
okay, right, yeah. But I guess in Star Trek, generally these are continuous like metal shell things, right? But this is like these weird concentric
pieces
things.
And connecting pieces together. Sure, why can't some of the pieces be something else at the same time? Like,
but I'm just thinking if you have shipyards and you want to shield the faster processors, like it's interesting that you would have that up in the air, but I mean, obviously
I feel like
need it to leave Detritus,
the shipyards might not be advanced enough. Maybe. I don't think they were building M-bots in those shipyards.
I guess that's possible.
I think they might have been. If you want to build ships, you generally want to build them in your most secure place, and a fortress world seems like a pretty solid place to build your ships.
I guess I'm just worried about if it's too high up, then you'll detect the thing that
the shipyard is the
shielding against,
shielding.
Right?
Yeah.
That
I also
That's what I'm saying.
One thing I liked about the debris field is it's bothered me since we first find out about it, about the way that orbital mechanics work around a planet.
Yes, right.
You can't have a debris field encasing a planet that's stable as the debris field is described as, because everything orbiting a planet has to cross over the center of the planet because you're orbiting the center of gravity.
Yeah.
So you couldn't have, so everything would be hitting each other constantly. You'd have basically nothing solid left if everything's in proper orbits. But then when the shipyard came down, it was like, hey, it's covered in acclivity rings.
Yeah,
and I was like,
all of the
that's why
stuff
they all
there
just stay up
is
there.
covered in acclivity rings, so they're not actually orbiting that fast.
They're not. They're just sitting above there, crashing into each other every so often. And I was like, okay, that's much better.
Yes, exactly. Like it's all like this acclivity ring based thing, and you just raised it up high. You know?
Yeah. You just
with the magic of things that give you lift, sure. Because if you're not a rocket scientist or anything, the difficulty with getting things into orbit is not really the vertical part; it's the horizontal part. Like
the horizontal part.
Like you have to be spinning around the Earth really fast because that's most of the speed you need. It's not the vertical amount. So just be aware that International Space Station, you're basically just at an altitude where you're kind of matching the rotation.
Yeah.
You
are falling to Earth and you just keep missing it.
Yeah, basically. So that's the acceleration that you really need for rockets, and I that's not what's happening here on Detritus.
Yeah, you just put them up there and they stay up there, and it's
magic. Acclivity rings are magic. That's all I know. That psychotics, that's magic, but you know what? Acclivity rock, yeah, cool. We need it. Sharbrandon, whatever. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm not like hard sci-fi is not my thing. I'm okay with it.
Me too. Yeah.
I don't need an explanation for the minutia of every technology that exists.
No,
like
I don't
my hat on when I was reading it, and I was like, I've got some questions, Brandon. And he did a pretty good job of explaining them. So I was like, cool.
It's kind of like Way of Kings.
He had STEM people.
Where they're like, how can you have an extended siege in this for so long? Oh, because we can just make food.
Yeah.
You don't need giant supply lines when you can.
You don't need supply lines.
Yeah, things like that. I think clearly the Pocos are spaceships, so I imagine we will get space combat, like in space, right?
Oh yeah,
those things are spaceships, right?
Yeah.
I'm listen, like the shape of like small fighters is only, you can only do so much with it. It's sort of like there comes a point where they stop looking like jets and start looking like X-wings. Like it's just that's just something that happens.
Yeah,
but definitely.
Yeah. Well, they have those like air scoops to push around the
atmospheric
air
scoops,
and like atmospheric scoops. Yeah. So
it was cool because M-Bot has much better atmospheric scoops than the other ships, I believe she said, and so she was able to pull off much more tighter turns and stuff like that.
And
also, she wasn't limited by what G-forces that humans could stand. Was probably one of the biggest things.
They're not called inertial dampeners. What were they called?
Just gravity in capacitors.
G-caps. Yeah.
G-caps. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, M-Bot has much better ones of those. Yeah. Like they're
that
not inertial dampeners, but that's what they are. But they're not called that here.
When I read that, I was like, oh, there's our inertial dampeners. Because when you have spaceships, you need to have those at some point. And so.
I was gonna say, but in Starsight, we're gonna start seeing that applied to all the human ships. And that's
for
gonna
sure.
Be fun. We're gonna.
Because I was really surprised at like how much like jet fighting it turned out to be. I'm like, wow, they're really affected by like the G-forces more than I thought they would be, and it turned out to be like a huge point. Like I thought in like the actual mechanics of their flying. So I was like, oh, it's not. They're still a little. They still feel like they have the inferior tech, like the underdogs for right now.
Right, because the Krell can maneuver much faster.
Yeah,
and have much better.
And so it will be cool because when they get to space, once as Spencer's the only one that's been flying with M-Bot, who's got much better atmospheric scoops and G-caps. Once they get to space, she's basically going to be like the expert on how to fly in space properly and like effectively use the vacuum. So that'd be cool. Like I reckon we'll see that in Starsight. Once the ships start reaching space, they're still going to be like Spencer's going to be like, "Here's how you do cool stuff up here, guys."
Probability that M-Bot will sass engineers studying him 100%.
Don't you dare actually hurt me or tear me apart. You can look at me, but
well, they'll also equip blasters to M-Bot because right now he doesn't have that, right?
Yeah,
really.
But now that it's out in the open, she doesn't need to steal them or anything. Like it's a better chance of getting blasters. I'd say that's a likelihood.
It's their best ship. Like, they're not going to dismantle it, right?
And it's great because now Spencer has plot armor. Like, they can't take her away from Mbot. Mbot only lets her be the pilot, so it's great.
That's true. And very justifiable plot armor. I love when plot armor
makes sense.
Makes sense in the context. Like, yeah, you're not getting in this ship unless you're
and I thought and I wondered what was going to be the stuff to keep them from just ripping Mbot apart. And I'm just like, oh, Mbot can just self-destruct really well. I'm like, and he can do it probably faster than they can shut him down and to do that first. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's believable. Now I feel more assured about there's plot armor protecting Mbot now and his safety.
Everyone saw how awesome Mbot was, so it's like, yeah, no, we're
not
that right now. Thanks. That'd be great.
I thought that was a very reasonable worry that Rig and Spencer and Mbot had that they were just gonna rip him up, and I'm like, no, don't do that.
No, don't do that.
We like Mbot.
Mbot's the best. Yeah,
Mbot's so funny. I love him.
Mbot's the best. Let's talk about character arcs. Okay, we talked about Jorgen. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's start with Spencer. Where do we think Spencer will go? Because there's so many ways that we can go. She can teleport. Who knows how far? What will even happen?
I have ideas.
Okay.
Based on Mbot's capabilities and the fact that Mbot is probably going to be the first one to go into space and probably going to be the farthest into space. I think they actually are going to run into limitations into what they actually can imitate. I don't think they're going to be able to build another AI, for example.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be able to. They might be able to make better ships, but I don't think they're going to be able to actually replicate Mbot. So that will leave Spencer as sort of the leader in terms of she might actually start going on solo recon missions, which is what Mbot was built for, to go into space.
That's true.
And for this reason, I think that she might end up being first contact for the Detritus humans to a lot of the aliens. I think she might be the one actually talking to them sometimes. And having to speak for the humans of Detritus, and that's why I think
character arc.
and that's why I think her entire thing reflected between what I said with FM back in the reactions was that the culture of Igneous and Alta and Spencer herself, that culture is reflected in Spencer so much of being this warlike, everything is for the purpose of winning victory. And that's why I think Spencer is going to be growing beyond that culture, beyond more than the growth that we saw in Skyward, not just letting go of her need to be so defensively angry all the time, but that she's going to be even more than that. I think she's going to sort of grow into the kind of person that FM thinks the rest of Detritus should become. I think she's going to become the anti-warrior. I think this might end up being a pacifist arc, actually. If it's going to swing full 180, that's
I really like that idea.
That would be great. Yeah. The person who wanted to be a warrior needs to learn to be.
As soon as I heard the Krell talk about how terrible and warlike humans are, I'm like, that's where Spencer's arc is going. That was my immediately first thought of she's going to be the one to flip it entirely and be the epitome of human peacefulness.
Yeah. And she is definitely not that character right now.
Definitely not.
No.
I think she's going in that direction.
She's learning things, but she's still.
That's where I saw in hindsight what her arc in Skyward was doing, and that's where I think she's going to keep going. But
I'd be upset if we didn't see more alien races.
Skyward, the first bit of her arc is her is letting go of anger, letting go of defensiveness, learning learning that she doesn't have to be that way in order to be a great person, to be a great hero. I think she's there's so much she has to undo, and that's why I really was thinking that FM was so important. But that's what I see for her.
I can see it.
That sounds awesome.
I do have something.
Okay.
So
yeah.
As mentioned in not the predictions, because this is the prediction.
This is
the
reactions
podcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
I loved the scene where Gran was talking about her mother and how her mother was the soul of the engine. And thinking about that, Spencer's great-grandmother was an incredibly important person because she gave the stars to the people. She shepherded them into the stars. So I think that's going to be what Spencer is going to end up doing. She's going to shepherd her people into the stars, give them the stars back.
Yeah. I like that.
Because there's that leadership quality that Jorgen has as kind of a lead from the front kind of guy. And so, like, as we're talking about, FM could lead her towards being this kind of cultural kind of flip-in kind of thing. Jorgen could kind of teach her to be a bit more of a leader.
A leader. Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I totally agree.
I actually loved in Skyward how, like, I feel like Spence is actually a really great second in command.
I think she is too. I think she's quite a good second in command.
Like, even by the end, I was just sort of like, oh, I don't think Brandon's going to go for the Spence that becomes the leader. Like, I actually really like Jorgen staying exactly where he is. I think he does well. I think he makes great calls, and I don't think Spencer would actually do as well as he does under that kind of responsibility.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I feel like she's a great second in that, like, she's a great support lead. She follows second, but, like, she also, like, the second in command is also the person who helps the rest of the team get there. You know,
she's good at making the leaders things.
That's why I think, like, the lieutenant role is just as important as the captain role, kind of, like, in a sense. If you'll give me that, I don't. There's lots of first and second, but I think it's like she's a great. From the beginning, she was a great motivator of the rest of them, and that was
true. Totally true.
You know, it wasn't that she told them what to do, but she listened to the orders and she helped them all get there. Whereas Jorgen might give like the orders, like the strategy. She's thinking about the tactics. She's thinking about each person. We can all get to the end of this,
which is an interesting thing to compare her to her great grandmother, because the captain of the Defiant ordered. Her great-grandmother to do something, and she disagreed.
Yeah.
It's like that's the whole mutiny that happened on the Defiant.
Do we know what they originally were ordered to do that she disagreed with?
No.
I hope
do we
we
know?
learn that. I hope we learn.
Oh.
I don't think we know. But
we just know that the mutiny was.
And she took them to Defiant. Not to Defiant.
To tip the Defiant to Detritus, yeah.
Right, because we don't know what where the captain actually wanted them to go, but she took them to Detritus.
And we know that was the act of mutiny, so I like the idea of, like, bookends, and it's the very common trope. I like that idea of, like, they're setting up, like, a failure of a relationship in the past, and that's something like that Jorgen and Spencer, if they continue to be the first and second, assuming that's a relation, that's how it continues to go, that will be the success. Like that maybe Spencer won't, maybe it's not a prediction, but maybe it's something that they're going to have to need to go farther then. Maybe Jorgen and Spencer, as the new first and second, are going to succeed where the past Defiant failed. I don't know. Like, I like bookends. That's my favorite. That's
sounding good. This is sounding good.
I love the bookends trope. I like the symmetry of it. But.
I like this is less. This is
how
less
very
Starsight.
boring of you.
This is less Starsight predictions and the entire rest of the series predictions.
I mean, again, like, there's so many places we can go. It's hard to know how big the universe will be after Starsight. I feel like Starsight will give us maybe more of a clear path through the rest of the series.
The thing I like about space opera is that sometimes the scope can go different from just pure technological hard sci-fi. I feel like it can go different places. Like, as soon as we found out it was kind of like magical abilities in addition to technology, I feel like that does change the scope somewhat. We can go a lot deeper or bigger than we could if it was just how far can we get under, like regular sci-fi has limitations to the FTL. They have limitations to their technology. This doesn't have that. We could go so much bigger. And so not knowing what Brandon's scope actually is, it could just be the war with the aliens that they have to solve, or it could go to like downright like spiritual, like they're like giant, like the stars are people, like the stars are giant beings that are ancient and watching the rest of the universe.
Book 3 was gonna be called Nowhere, which I don't really like as a title. But just like reading what we read about the eyes and the nothing, and like That's book 3. There could be a 4th one. Like, where's that gonna go? I don't know, right? Like, who knows?
Probably
Well,
not.
and this is Brandon.
gonna go
He's
nowhere.
already done this to us with
I know.
Stormlight. He's gone places we thought were going to be book 5, book 8.
And it's part 2 of Oathbringer. Okay. Like, no, we'll not get into spoilers here for that. But
So, I mean, right now, and for the Nowhere, you just reminded me of this. So far, we've only been there very briefly as people travel through.
yeah.
Do you think we're going to spend time, like, inside Nowhere for significant lengths of time?
I think that's
Yes.
when we're going to see what the eyes are, right? When we
I
stay there
do.
too long and something real bad happens, and then we're like, what the crap are the eyes? And then they're just like this crazy thing, which will take us somewhere totally crazy somewhere else. I don't know. I think for sure.
I will say that Brandon usually isn't a big fan of horror, but the kind of horror he does like is eldritch cosmic
Yes.
horror.
The eyes, yeah, like this. Oh, we could have like this horror subplot. Ooh, it's so good.
I love it so much. And it's sort of like the reversal of like the darkness is safe, but like when the stars come, that's when you know you're being watched. That's scary.
very
Because you know,
cinematic and
like
cool,
stars generate radio waves.
Yeah.
is-
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, anything hot does.
Stars generate all kinds of
Yeah.
waves. Maybe that's how stars talk to each other.
Well, okay.
Ooh.
Again, I don't think the stars are alive in this universe.
I
but,
kind of
yeah.
wonder because ancient beings at the same time the stars come up. I do wonder.
Well,
but-
I just
There's a-
don't think
there's
the
a lot- there's
eyes.
a link being drawn.
They're just stars in the nothing, not real stars. Like I don't think.
Yeah,
they're
the
real
stars-
stars.
Until they are.
until they are.
Maybe.
There was darkness, and then she arrived, and then the field of white when billions of stars arrived when she did. So I'm like,
Yeah, but in the nothing.
in the
nowhere.
nothing.
In the nowhere.
So it could be the beings are using stars as their vessels or their
I just
appearance.
think you're taking the
persona?
star thing literally. That Spencer's just
I'm gonna keep
interpreting
taking it.
that
It's the text
as
of the book.
stars.
I'm gonna take it. This is my theory. This is my pet theory.
Oh,
is
claim
that
it does say claim the stars. Okay, all right,
claim the
fine.
stars.
All right.
Maybe
That
the stars
would
will have
be
a heel face
really
turn
funny.
and they'll become the good guys. Maybe that.
Then Spencer conquered the eyes, and we killed all the aliens. No, just kidding.
We killed all the
claimed
stars
them.
and destroyed life in the entire universe. So no, we
Mission
have to.
accomplished.
The stars are probably not evil.
And then, well, the
I don't
actual
think
stars.
they adhere to human-based morality.
Right.
Orange and blue morality. Yeah.
Are you waiting, Ben, for book 3 when they have the super ultra life buster that has 7 bombs together? There's acid, and then there's a stream of nanobots that will eat your face, and then more
there's a
acid.
freezing layer, and then there's a laser layer, and it's the rave layer. Yeah.
Oh, nanobots. I think that would do it pretty well. Just by
I
that.
don't think. Maybe they do have nanotechnology. I really want to know the tech level of the aliens, right?
Me too. I'm just sort of like,
Hmm.
did they, like, how much did they steal from humans, or did they steal everything, or was it just? I wonder.
Maybe
yeah, I'm
humans
so curious about
motivated
that.
them to progress their technology when they wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like
but-
because if they can steal human bodies, that probably helps them
Yeah, because that's the thing
just
that
body
happened in
just
Cutting
body
Edge Field.
snatch some humans. You
Oh,
can
God.
steal a ship or that holds some technology. I feel like they probably stole at first and then
I
went from
mean,
there.
I feel like that's a great opening strike for your war against the humans, that you take control of the psychotics, and then it's like, yeah, that makes things pretty easy. If you
Do you
can
reckon
mind
that-
control an enemy Jedi, you're in good shape. Just saying, right? And
Do you
the
reckon that's
psychotics
going-
are better than that.
Oh, Ben,
Do you reckon that's going to come up? Do you reckon that's going to be a plot point in the future of kind
Body
of
snatching?
body snatching, like someone that we think is a friend, and they're like being all friendly with
don't.
Spencer?
That's so. I hate those
Well,
plots.
I
Those
feel
plots make me
like-
so stressed.
It was pretty obvious that Chaser was not, like, Kyle looked into Chaser's eyes. It's like, okay, it wasn't that,
Oh no, I was talking at the level of the guy in Defending Elysium, the alien that swapped with a human and took over a human body.
Like,
Like,
literally
that's-
body snatched.
Oh.
Literally, he was
Oh.
literally body snatched. Or
Oh.
she? I
She,
can't remember.
she.
Yeah, she was literally body snatched. Like they put an alien mind in a human body, and with a bit of practice, you have like the ultimate espionage. And Brandon did the whole Chandra thing in Well of Ascension. He knows how to do a shapeshift in like.
Hey, I was
spy.
totally taken in Mistborn. I was like, that was they get me. I'm so.
That was one of the better parts of Ascension. That reveal. I mean, yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. What do you think the status of humans are other than Detritus in the Galaxy universe?
I think they must only exist as other small pockets.
Human
Yeah.
zoo.
I think, or else they have,
Zoo.
or else the humans are like so far behind that they're on the run, and it's like a small force that looks like a resistance force. Maybe like I don't think they're fighting. Oh, I used to know the word for this, but like out and out war, they might just be sticking to guerrilla tactics.
Guerrilla
Real
warfare.
Yeah. Then the opposite of that is like
Total War.
total war. Yeah. So I think that it can't. The war can't be going on as at that level. I think either
No.
Detritus is the last, or like the other humans are just so scattered, so isolated that maybe if they exist, they're like Detritus too.
Imprisoned or zoo.
Okay, so I had an idea. We were talking about body snatching, and then we talked about humans.
Mhm.
What if there are humans within the alien society in alien bodies?
Whoa.
That would change
Okay.
the landscape a lot.
This is the only way we can survive among the aliens. We become the aliens. Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know. It all seems creepy to me.
It's
I know.
very,
I know.
these
Look.
plot points stress me out.
We're getting to eldritch horror eyes things. Sure, let's just go full hog and creepy crap. Sure.
God, the idea of aliens like living as humans or humans living as aliens, like that's really freaky to think about. Like, especially if you're a galaxy of people who think humans are warlike, but then you live in a universe where it's possible for people to switch minds and bodies. Like,
What does that do to your psychology when you're in a human body? Yeah.
yeah,
What does it mean to be human?
yeah, pretty much. It's like,
Yeah.
there's places they could take this if he makes the whole body swap thing.
Yeah, that's
Thing.
Yeah.
that might not be a thing. It might turn out to have been not viable, you know,
In the long
like
term,
ages ago. But I mean, who knows? I mean,
Yep.
it'd be a powerful idea. But
One thing that was sort of teased in Skyward that I really want to see more of is the specialized teams, or
Oh, of the fighter pilots and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where Kimmelin is
yeah.
really good at firing, at sniping, but she's less good at the other stuff. And just seeing teams of specialists working together to be more effective.
Because
than
there were the
everybody
special
just
scouting
running
ships.
everything.
yeah, there were the
Yeah.
scouting ships that it was. We get the idea when they were doing that sort of stuff. There were more roles that they were sort of not quite being trained for. Like they were just getting the basics. Something I liked was that like Spence's herself is the one who brought up that idea, like at the very, very end when she's trying to get them back into the field. It's sort of that they still have something to contribute, even if they're not at the level that like say Cobb wanted. I kind of got the sense that they weren't doing that sort of thing because there was no time or resources to make that sort of thing possible, because they needed everyone to be at like a certain level, and then they needed all people to do all things, and that if you weren't at that level, you were just like hurting the whole fleet.
Right.
And that was like sort of in Ironsides, you know how close to the line that they are in terms of pilots versus resources versus time to train and all of that. So yeah, I would love to see the culture of the base like slow down so they have the time to do what Cobb does, like do it right. No, I'm just saying like Cobb was kind of the only one doing it that way. I would love to see everyone start doing it that way.
And specialization is a very important part in the development of anything. Like we see that in the history of Earth.
Yeah.
Like there's a point where people start specializing and production goes through the roof. Like, but it
Don't need
takes
to know
a
everything.
while to get to that point.
Remind me, this is a little bit related to the specialization. Does Mbot have a second seat behind the pilot seat? Am I misremembering something? I remember there being a lot more. She's mentioning there's a lot more space in the cockpit than would be normal.
I don't
Was there a mention of a
remember.
second seat?
I
don't
want
remember.
to say yes.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It could
either.
be. I really don't remember.
I know there's room for her to like shower and stuff.
Yeah. There was
But
like
like
that
a
little pod she
pod
could slide
thing,
into.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, outside of it. So, oh
Yeah.
man, I need to go back and read.
Because all my thought there was, because you mentioned what Kimmerling could do, what kind of role someone who's not very good at flying but really good at shooting, and do you know what the role would that be great? Would be a co-pilot in charge of the guns.
The
Would be a-
gunner, yeah,
yeah.
a gunner role, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So
do you need a gunner when Mbot could probably shoot just fine?
Yeah, Bob can do. Yeah. This,
Like,
you don't want that.
once you connect them, like,
Didn't Mbot say that he wasn't allowed to shoot his own guns though?
Yeah, but he could aim them. Like,
Well, that was the original pilot,
That's
though,
fine
right?
line.
That was the original pilot, correct?
yeah. That was the original. Well,
Like
I
under
think-
the original pilot's owner, or the
Yeah.
original pilot's orders, right?
No, like in general, wasn't there a list of things that Mbot? I mean, he rewrote his own code, so who knows if the
Maybe
list is
would've-
even.
yeah.
I just
But
thought
I-
he didn't have blasters. I thought
No,
that was
he
the reason.
also didn't have access to fire the blasters. He wasn't.
Yeah, he also.
Oh, Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no. I guess if he could rewrite the code, then yeah, he would. But
There was another point as well that that I thought of when you were talking, Shannon. What do you guys think the Krell's response to the events of Skyward is
I
going
was
to be?
just thinking this too. Like, will the Krell react really hard? Like, what will happen? Yeah,
That's what I started to wonder of like, are they going to start talking, and like give up the pretense of
Yeah.
and tell them what's actually going on, or is it going to be this is going to provoke their galactic like the people who wanted to kill them? Is this going to scare
Right.
them to try and like keep wiping them out constantly? Like this could be something that actually pushes the stakes to the point that maybe they aren't going to get any time to relax. Maybe they have to find a way to run.
Yeah. Like,
So-
Good thing we have a Cytonic.
yeah.
Good thing we have the remains of a ship and the way to and the knowledge in Mbot's database that we can try and make a really big ship for everyone on the whole planet and just go. I don't think it's going to happen, but that would be. I wonder how high the stakes might be if the Krell are all of a sudden going to be. Is this going to be something that they see as an opportunity to reach out to the humans, or just at least try and talk to them, or is this just going to scare them and keep bomb?
So- I think in the beginning, at least, their reaction is going to be sheer panic.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah, we've already seen that part. Yeah,
I kind of feel like at the start of Starsight, we might have a little bit of a reprieve while both sides kind of reevaluate the war and their strategy.
Definitely.
And then I don't know, it'll either go in the direction of we need to hit them even harder to wipe the humans out, or maybe we need to reevaluate and talk to them. Although I kind of think that one's a little bit less likely.
Yeah.
I feel that it would be going more towards the, hey, let's build a really big wave of ships to like, we need to get rid of these guys now.
That kind of feels like it to me, and I think maybe galactic reinforcements.
Yeah.
Like
They might send the actual warrior species instead of just the Krell.
Yeah.
yeah.
We don't know what the warrior species are, but
And then like they come down from the sky and like there's some Krell. Oh, then there's these other ships. That's not good. And so maybe we do get a little bit of a reprieve as the Krell are like, well, that didn't work, and now they have this the capabilities, and they're not. Our assaults are not going to work, and so they'll wait a little bit for the reinforcements to come, and then crap gets real. So maybe like a short reprieve.
yeah.
You know,
I like that.
And that could be an opportunity for Spencer to go on some recon to figure out what the aliens' plans are.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Love it.
I'm really excited for the next.
I know.
books.
I love this book so much. I didn't expect to be so into it. Like there's so much depth.
I knew you would love it, Shannon. In particular,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know for a fact it's like this is gonna be a book for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I was looking forward to the sequels in terms of just more Spencer, but from this conversation, I'm like, no, there is lots to this world that they can go and like. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting.
And it totally could be crazy
Yeah.
in like the end. Like, what's
Yeah.
the nowhere? The eyes, like, who knows?
I mean, it could go to Eldritch Horror, or it could go to Spencer and alien politics, and we sit in like meetings and.
Listen,
I
I like fantasy politics. I like, like I'd honestly be down, but I know a lot of people wouldn't be.
I would too.
I know Brandon. Brandon will never escape. What are the politics you doing here? He will do it. He's getting better and better at writing it, so I'll like it just fine. Yeah.
Politics with Eldritch Horrors.
Yeah. the best combo.
The climax of book 4 will be Spencer fighting in a massive fleet battle against the species, whilst also just negotiating politics, whilst also fighting the Eldritch Horrors in the nowhere at the same time.
Cytonically. She's doing
Cytonics, because she
Why not? Sure. Yeah. I mean, it would be funny if, like, and now we're in the Galactic Senate. Well, we passed the Senate, and now it goes to the eyes. We see what they think. And they didn't like it, and they destroyed a planet and said, we need to make a better proposal to the eyes. No, but
the Galactic Senate is no longer.
Yeah. But instead of Palpatine, it's Eldritch Horrors.
Which, to be fair, Palpatine is almost an Eldritch Horror.
Oh,
it's not a giant city-sized Cthulhu. He's just a guy.
Yeah, but he is pretty old.
He's not a literal star.
Destroying a planet is
These aren't literal stars, guys. They're just interpreted as stars in the nowhere. Come on. They're not
the stars are interpreted as eyes. That's what the text says. So.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold on to that.
Stars. They are not nuclear fusion reactors. That's not what they are.
Until they are.
They're just bright lights. They're just lights.
You know what Zine sounds like? Sheev.
For those of you not aware, Sheev is Emperor Palpatine's first name. just had to,
Sheev Palpatine.
Sheev Palpatine.
Like I told you, Star Wars names, just
great.
Brandon's doing fine.
It's been a few Shardcasts. In the olden days of Shardcast, we would talk every time on Shardcast or before and after the show. We would talk about Star Wars and Pokemon. So this is great. Mbot's gonna collect some mushrooms. That qualifies as maybe Pokemon. Yeah. Great, cool, easy.
Oh, man, I can't wait for that interaction when Mbot meets the Krell and is like, "Do you have any species of mushrooms?"
Oh, that is definitely gonna happen.
I can't. Yeah, there's gonna be like some book 4 conversation. These mushrooms made us supersize, and now we can. And like Mario, yeah. And the pipes are cytonics. Cytonic pipes.
I wonder if we're going to find out that any more humans on Detritus have the defect. Because that was sort of something that seemed exclusive to Spence's family. I wonder if there were more, because that seemed what Ironside's long-term plan was now they have the capability to scan and try and find more people who have cytonics. That's going to come up again.
Yes.
Yeah. And the Defiant wasn't just one ship. It was a flotilla of vessels. Yeah. There was more than one ship, so there must be more than one.
No, they had the other ships attached to the Defiant for
jumps.
Oh, so it was like a Remora racing.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, because how would the great-grandmother talk to all the other ships and all agree to go to a place? Like, it's easier just to have one.
If one person has the capability to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm super excited. What other world building elements? There's Doomslug. I think you guys were talking about some ideas about Doomslug.
There have been some theories that Doomslug was the organic part of Mbot's psychotic hyperdrive. I'm not sold on that.
I saw that at the beginning, and then that it didn't seem relevant to Mbot's functioning.
Yeah,
just a cute little mascot.
Yeah.
Mbot is a human that mind swapped with the slug. Or not Mbot, Doomslug.
We got you. Yeah.
At this rate, knowing what Brandon's like, if people keep going on enough about Doomslug being a cytonic that teleports about and like is important, Brandon will make that happen. So stop doing that, people.
I mean, I'd rather have that than what Doomslug is right now. Like, I just don't care about Doomslug.
Oh, I don't mind Doomslug right now. He's
It's
like
like it's a cute pet. She's a
She.
Doomslug
Sorry.
is the she.
thing. I always forget. I always say the first.
yeah. But yeah,
Sorry, Doomslug fans.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry for not liking all of your theories about Doomslug being Psychonic and also being the pilot and also being the hyperdrive and also
Well,
being
okay.
Yeah.
I think the main one that people talk about is the Cytonic one, and not the other one. Yeah,
I like the theory. I don't know how
I like it.
possible it is, but it would be cool.
I think it'd be. I could think it could totally be a thing. I mean, that would give Doomslug a purpose for being where Doomslug is.
Comic relief is a perfectly fine purpose to have.
No. Okay, let me rant for a second. Okay,
Oh
let's
no.
talk about the difference between Guardians of the Galaxy 1 versus 2. Okay,
Cool. Do it.
Guardians 1, every joke has a purpose and we're moving things. Guardians 2 has, wow, we're gonna make 17 hyper jumps and our faces are gonna be wacky, but then when we get there, even though we said it was really hard, we're just gonna be there and it's never gonna matter again. Just cut that part out of the movie. Didn't matter. The joke didn't matter. The movie would be shorter and therefore better because of it, because it didn't matter. And
Is that like the one joke you have a problem with in Guardians 2, or is it?
well, I mean,
It just seems like you had this one like ready to go.
I just
Yeah,
thought Guardians 2 could have been tighter, and watching Guardians 1 again, you'll always enjoy Guardians 1 because everything, like, all the jokes are well connected and stuff, and Guardians 2 is funny, but I don't like it as much as Guardians
Okay,
1.
I'll send you an analysis or something. We'll get into it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm critical about sequels
No,
and
it's all good.
plotting.
I understand your point.
Like,
I got you.
If things expand out of control and it is not tightly plotted like Skyward is, like right now, Skyward is a very tightly plotted thing. We can't go like so off the rails that we don't have like a tense, well-paced experience, right?
Has
That would
anyone
be-
asked Brandon like kind of what the purpose of Doomslug is? Has that come up in an AMA?
I mean, we haven't transcribed a lot of audio from
Sure.
things, and I think the Skyward 2 will be done by the time this episode gets posted, but I'm not quite sure when this airs.
Okay, I'd be
This
curious
totally
to know.
wasn't recorded directly after.
No, we definitely didn't specifically change our shirts to make it look like we're not recording it after there, but we are recording this right after we did our Skyward reactions.
Wait, did you guys change your shirts?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we did.
Oh, I didn't. Well, the
That's
magic is
funny.
ruined.
I
That's
know.
funny.
I know. What other last thoughts, hopes, or thoughts do we have?
I want the scope to go big. I want it to go so big.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to feel like I don't want it to stay at just like the Galactic Empire versus humanity. I want it to go bigger than that. I want us to get to the end of that conflict and realize that that there's so much more. Maybe humans and aliens make peace, but then they find out they're in a big ocean and they were just in the kiddie pool. That's my biggest wish. I want it to go bigger, and I want Spencer to be at the center of it all.
I want the eyes when they show up to be awesome.
Yes, I think they have to be. I think they
Yeah.
will be. I actually, going off the eyes, if they are these civilization-destroying things, I want the eyes I want to see them destroy something.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's like you gotta like shoot the gun that appears on the wall. You gotta, if you set it up, we have to believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, like maybe Spencer goes on some recon and then like just something gets wrecked. Something, I don't know.
I like that. I like that.
I don't know when that would happen, but if the eyes are going to be a main antagonist, we can't just like, whoa, they look scary and they're in the nowhere. No, if M-Bot's scared about wireless transmission, which as we did, oh, that's going to be a thing.
I realized while we were recording this that there were probably going to be more deaths. And
That's
God,
true. Yeah. Mhm.
True.
I'm so much more connected to the characters now. That's gonna be rough.
Book 4 is going to be
Oh.
rough. I don't even know. I have no idea, but Book 4 is going to be rough.
Book 3, Jorgen dies.
Oh, God.
I would be
Brandon,
devastated, and I would have to. And I don't even care. I love Jorgen, but not as much as Grace. I would just like.
But
I would die.
What if Jorgen dies trying to get people away when the eyes attack and saves everyone because he made a big sacrifice?
That would still be so sad.
It
That
would be
would
very
still
sad, but it'd be
It would be
really
devastating.
I'd
Like,
have
Haruks-
Alexa play Despacito and everything.
Yeah. Right. Oh,
Yeah, I
man.
think from how Skyward went, this series has the potential to be one of Brandon's most emotional series,
Mm,
at least for me.
No, I'm
yeah,
with you.
Completely with you there.
Ben's with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And people will die. People will die.
I'm not emotionally ready. I can't talk about it.
I mean, do we expect Cobb to live through the series?
Oh,
As the
no.
mentor?
Don't. I can't believe you just
God.
said that.
I'm
I
just
think
saying, he's the
Ironside.
mentor.
We need like an Ironside sacrifices herself to like save everyone.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would be
Definitely.
good. That would be good.
What if she saves herself for Spencer? Or saves
Aw.
Spencer? You know what I mean?
I mean,
I got excited in that sentence.
Saved herself for Spencer has a slightly different
I
meaning.
got excited.
Hey, do you guys reckon Spencer's 18th birthday was in the Star Wars?
Ian, how dare
When you set yourself up for a joke
Listen,
like
I was
that.
just so excited that the words didn't go in the sentence right, but you knew what I meant.
we
know,
knew what you meant, but we'll
Yeah.
definitely make fun of it. I mean, Ian said a few episodes ago that instead of Kaladin, he said Kelsier. So, I mean, that was amazing. But
Like, I also said Freud at one point.
yeah,
so-
that's the love child of Frost and Hoyd and hangs out with the Lord Ruler's kids. That's
That's good. That's really good.
I think Ironsides coming to terms with Spencer, now that Ironsides doesn't have to fear Spencer, because Spencer went up and came back down. Like that's
Yeah.
a big deal, right? And seeing the fallout of that will be very interesting.
I
That
feel
said,
like-
Cobb's totally gonna die in book 2 or 3. Like that's just a fact.
Cobb's- he might as well just line his head up on the chopping block already. Like he is.
Wow.
He's an-
I
Okay,
feel
not
like-
that much.
What I would like to see, because the mentor always dies, I always like to see when
Yeah.
the mentor does live. I would like to see Ironsides die and then Cobb take over.
Yes, I think that'd be really
Oh, that would be good
Oh,
though.
that'd be
That
good.
would be really good.
just imagine, just think about how Cobb runs the classroom versus how the rest of the DDF does stuff. That would cause like so many great changes
How
though.
grumpy would he be?
And we've already had this set up because they had the conversation on the interlude where Cobb's like, I wouldn't want to be in your position.
Oh crap! You're right. Oh my god! You're
Yeah.
right though.
Good point. Good point.
Good
Yeah.
point.
What if Cobb becomes the leader and then gets body snatched?
Ian, you
No.
just make
They-
everything terrible. I'm so anxious. I'm so
And so
stressed.
they think he's dead, but then he comes back in an alien body.
No. Oh, that'd be interesting. Okay.
I'm alien Cobb. You're just as grumpy as regular Cobb. I believe it. Great. I think I don't know how many more like dedicated Skyward episodes we should have. Like we talked a lot about the world building. Maybe after Starsight we'll have a lot more to talk about because again, the world, we got such a small, tiny bit
Yeah.
that when things expand, the scope can get big and
So is this like see you guys in a year kind of situation?
maybe, but I think we might
Yeah.
do a Defending Elysium episode where we really dig into what happened there because we talked
We
about
skimmed
it,
it.
but like talking about the different kinds of aliens, what they were doing, and like
Yeah.
these are things in this universe. Like they could matter a lot. So maybe we'll do one of those, but I don't know when that'll be. So
Sure. Love it.
great. So guys, you know what time it is? It's time for us not talking about Skyward anymore because we're talking about who's that Cosmere character?
Who's that Cosmere character?
All right, guys. Welcome to Who's That Cosmere Character.
Welcome to that Cosmic Character. I am just pulling up the things.
Oh,
'cause I
right.
forgot
Okay,
my phone. This will happen.
I'll start while you do that. This is the game show where you send in a clue with send in a character with 5 clues. I'm doing great here. 10 out of 10. And to who's that Cosmere character at gmail.com, and we will read it eventually. And man, we've had some really good ones recently. People are getting really good at making some good vague first clue that's just like, what? Rather than Rosharin, male. not that those clues are bad, because those are useful pieces of information, but I like the recent ones have been really top tier.
We have had some really good ones. Good job, everyone. Well done.
Yeah.
Someone asked me as well recently how big the queue is right now, and the queue we're at right now is like nearly 40. So if you send in your suggestions,
it might be almost a year.
Maybe someday we'll have maybe we'll do a video with like a game show thing. But
someone has suggested we just do a dedicated who's that cosmic character, and we just go bam, 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 bam,
that
bam.
requires editing, and I'm really lazy, but I do want to do something like that because I think that could be really fun.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So our first character is from Singer and the Forums.
Right.
And clue number 1 for this character is this character is an orphan.
Sabruki.
It is not Sabruki.
Look, I'm going to bring back an old Shardcast meme. I'm going to guess Menace.
It is not Menace. By the way, I can't remember if I've ever said this, but you've said this many times on Shardcast. I don't know who Menace is.
Menace is in the prologue of Final Empire. He's like some old guy that Kelsier talks to. And
excellent. Cool.
He's probably an orphan. Scala probably the parents got killed. Look, I'm bringing it back. I don't know.
Cool.
Okay.
Wait, Ben, this isn't the one we talked about beforehand. That.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I will not answer then because I don't.
Oh,
Wait.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. I was hoping you wouldn't notice, and so that I could get away with it. But yeah, Grace knows what this one is, so Grace is out for this one.
Obviously, that was where my mind jumped to.
We
so
have
I was
had a
like,
clue that is an
Orphan.
orphan before.
It's not that one though, don't worry.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Different orphan.
I'll
Different orphan.
just get it out of the way. Is it Vin?
It is not Finn.
I mean,
Just
to be
getting that
fair.
out there.
Yeah.
Just clearing the.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So clue number 2. This character has a deceased brother.
Vin. That's not my guess. Deceased brother.
Deceased brother. And this is Cosmere. This isn't Broad Sanderson.
This is Cosmere. This is not Broad Sanderson. This is not Skyward.
Okay.
Orphan, dead brother.
Has dead brothers. That's the
Is it-
question.
Kelsier.
It's not Kelsier.
Cat.
Wait.
Does he have a dead brother?
No, he doesn't have a
Marsh,
dead brother.
Marsh died. I'm just like
They do
Marsh
have a
did
dead
not
brother.
die.
Marsh didn't die. He's still alive.
he died and then came. Yeah. Anyway. He's an undead. I was just sort of like maybe on the technicality.
Yeah.
I was just okay.
Yeah.
Kelsier's the one that's undead, not Marsh.
Very okay. They're both whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
In a Mistborn kind of mood.
Well, I'm thinking about.
Dalinar?
It is not Dalinar.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
None of Shallan's brothers are dead, right? They all lived.
One dead brother.
Shallan.
It is not Shallan.
Okay. All right. She's an orphan. She just happened to kill both of them.
Yeah, I'm sort of like,
Technically
does she
orphan.
count as an orphan? I mean, on a technicality, I think yeah.
Technically.
Self-induced orphanism.
Yes.
Orphanism?
Orphanism.
Why did
Oh, we
that
should-
makes it sound so bad?
I love it. I love it.
They're not orphans anymore. They're orphanisms.
No, orphanism is a condition.
Orphanism is a condition
Oh.
that an
Shallan
organism
has
has.
orphanism.
Okay. I guess those were our guesses. Did everyone guess?
Yeah, that's our classes. So, clue number 3. This character has suffered a traumatic childhood.
Kidding.
No kidding.
This like
I think
doesn't
that
narrow
was
it down at all.
And you have a deceased brother. You had a traumatic childhood.
Yeah. Oh man.
Had a traumatic childhood. Who was
Grace,
definitely
you're
an
enjoying
orphan.
this as much as I am.
Yes.
Did you
I
wanna
can just see the wheel spinning in Eric's head of like what counts as traumatic.
Welcome to Who's That? What does that Cosmere character clue mean? Where we argue about what a clue means and how seriously we should be taking it. And it's
Yeah.
pretty classic.
Traumatic childhood, dead parents, dead brother.
Wait. Look, okay, I don't think this fits, but I'm gonna go with Zeth.
It is not Zeth.
Okay.
I think his dad's
Because
still
we
alive.
know
Whatever.
none of those things about
He
Zeth.
could have been dead. I don't know. Volano could be dead. Oh, no, not Volano. Naturo.
Is it?
Citro.
No, that doesn't make sense. No, that makes no sense.
I'll say, Grace, did you want to do the last 2 clues once the guys have guessed this?
That means I'd have to actually pull it up, so no.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay. Oh my God, this is. I'm so
No idea.
lost right now. Who is
Don't
the
know.
dead brother? I mean, like, I'm gonna get it as soon as you say it, but still,
I was about to say college, but like, no, his parents are definitely alive.
his parents are definitely alive.
Hey, I mean, we don't know what happens after part 1 of Oathbringer.
They died off screen.
I'm so. I don't want to pass, but I can't. I'm having so much trouble coming up with someone.
I mean, you could go with Gavinor. Technically an orphan.
Gavinar didn't have siblings, though.
I
You're not
mean, maybe Aesidon
Yeah.
was pregnant and died, so... From Yelignar, okay? Look, it's possible.
Eric, did you guess? I can't remember.
I did, I guess Zeth, which was dumb, but I don't know what else to do, so... Like, yeah, yes, childhood was traumatic.
This is like where like I haven't reread many of the books in so long. It's coming back to bite me.
Who in
Did you guys
Cell?
want to pass?
I
Not
guess.
yet. Not yet.
Okay. Okay.
Or
I'm
determined?
just like, one more minute, I guess. Oh my God, I can't think of anyone.
Cell has dead brothers. That's really the question here.
I am thinking about Cell, but I can't.
Ashravan.
It is not Ashravan.
Ooh, I don't know if he's an
That was-
orphan, though.
Well, I'm assuming his parents are dead.
That was a good guess, though. I
Wait.
forgot the brother.
I guess that would technically you have orphanism.
Yeah.
Like if they
Yeah,
died of
like-
old age. But typically when your parents die of old age, you would not consider yourself an orphan.
You guessed Menace.
Okay. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it Do I have to guess someone's name?
As close as possible.
A good
You prefer
description,
to have
you-
a name.
Is it the Emperor from the Emperor's Soul?
It is
That's who I
Ashravan.
just guessed.
That's Ashravan.
Is that Ashravan? Okay, so I
Yeah.
didn't even know his name. Okay, well
No,
that's
that is that.
God,
It is not Ashravan.
frick. That was okay. I'll pass. I'll just get that.
Okay. So, clue number 4. This character has a physical handicap.
What?
A physical.
I don't actually remember this thing about the character.
Oh my God.
What?
It's only mentioned. It's not mentioned very often. It's easy to overlook.
A handicap. Not like a marking. A handicap. Right?
Handicap. Physical handicap.
Set. Ashweather set.
Set.
Yeah.
They cut. That should have been on our pronunciation list.
Physical handicap. Oh my God.
Gresson doesn't have a dead brother. Don't think.
I don't think so.
She's
I
an
don't think
orphan.
she's an orphan.
Don't think.
I thought she was an orphan.
Oh.
I want to say Jason Wright, but I don't think he has a brother, and he's not Cosmere, so. But my mind is still in Skyward, kind
Yeah,
of.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You
Jason
also
Wright
know
is
the answer,
grips you.
so-
I do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Grace will just troll us with Skyward guesses and depending Elysium guesses.
I feel
yeah.
like there's some huge like trick here, and it's like
I
a
do
thread or
feel like
something.
that. I feel like
just
it's
want to
so
see
obvious.
the last clue. I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Wait. Hold up.
What?
I think Eric would have it.
Hoyd.
It's not Hoyd.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
other than the brother
Physical
thing,
handicap.
Jason Wright does fit.
That doesn't come up that often and can be over.
Oh yeah, we probably gave a bit too much away there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're still not getting it though.
It's
So-
not
Still,
Okay,
we're
now we have
still,
no
like,
idea.
doesn't matter. Like, it's not giving it away to us. So.
Is this the one that 3 different people sent the same character?
This is the one that 3 different people sent to the
What?
same character, almost within a day of each other, and it was the weirdest thing. This isn't like it's not like we got a wob about this character at the same time. It was just A
Out of
massive
nowhere.
coincidence. Yeah.
Random chance.
So what I'm going to do is, if you guys can't get this on clue number 5, I'm going to then move on to the next set of clues we have for this character.
More than
Keep
5
going.
clues
That-
for this.
So once we're
Actually,
all
you should
50
totally do that because
You
that's
know what?
hilarious.
I'm gonna pass. We can go on to
Yeah,
5.
I want clue 5.
Yeah.
See, I think you're going to get this on the 5th one.
That's fine.
So I don't know if I
Okay.
should just move on to it. So
No.
this one must give it away.
Okay.
Clue number 5 is, this character likes killing animals.
Oh, non-Balat.
It is non-Balat. Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's one of the other Devar
Yeah.
siblings.
I was like, is
Yeah.
it
I was like, I
Blot?
knew
Is
who
it
it was. I just didn't know his
Jushu?
name.
Like,
I was
which
like,
one?
oh my
Yeah,
god.
You guys
is
said
Technically just
Shalon.
Balat.
And
Yeah,
then
you said
none of
Shalon.
you said any of the Shalon siblings.
Yeah, they're all orphans and have a deceased brother too.
And he does have a physical
Traumatic
environment.
childhood.
That's right. Yeah.
No, that's why I was like, I thought Shalon was gonna be it, and I was sort of like, it was like the best fit, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
but physical
know enough
impediment.
to distinguish them from each other. Like,
Yeah.
I would
and
have
I
said
just didn't want
it
to start guessing them because then the other two would start guessing them. So
as soon as you said it. I knew which one it was. I just names of the siblings.
Yeah.
Ian knows. So
Cool. So what we're gonna do? then-
non-Balat, Tet
Oh.
Wickham, and Asha Yushu.
Wow.
Yushu and Wickham are the two that I confuse. One of them is like really depressed and the other one gambles a lot, right? But I don't remember
Uh,
which
Wickham
which.
is the depressed one.
Yeah.
Yushu is the gambler.
okay.
So what we'll do then is, for the other two people that also sent in Balat on almost the same day, it was just really weird. We'll do this at a later date once people have forgotten about Balat.
Well, now
and
we're
then
never
you won't,
going
and
to.
you won't like tell
Yeah.
us when you're doing it, right?
Yeah. We'll save those ones for later.
From now on, first clue every time. Just get Balat.
Balat.
This character
Balat.
is Gadrian. Balat.
Menace. Someday someone will send in Menace.
One
And
day.
Ian will get it, and I'll get really pissed off about it. I'll be so upset.
Yeah.
Cool, right. Character number 2.
Okay.
Clue number 1, and this one is the one you can do, Grace. This one was sent in by Orimus.
Okay.
Um,
all right. Cool. Hi.
Orimus.
Hi, Arimus.
We have seen this character in multiple places.
Hoyd.
It is not Hoyd.
Okay. All right. With define places.
Okay, so name a place in the Cosmere.
Luthadel.
Name another place in the Cosmere.
Cell.
Kind of like that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So yeah.
You could name this character has been seen in locations, and you could name multiple.
See, I already have like the rest of my guesses lined up, and it's just like, are the other two gonna get
I'm
to
gonna
them
go
first?
Felt.
It's not Felt. No,
Okay.
Vivenna.
it is not Vivenna.
I would just
Okay.
watch it be two
I want to
different
keep
cities.
guessing,
Not gonna
actually,
be
but
World
I mean,
Hopper.
Yeah.
I'm ready
I'm
for
like,
it
we
to
could
not
just
be-
keep on going on clue 1.
I feel like this is a trick and they're not actually a world hopper.
No,
though.
I agree, but I just
But like, let's just get the world hoppers out of the
yeah.
way.
Grace,
I'll help get the world hoppers out of the way, Chris.
Odium.
it is not Chris.
Okay.
This character has a non-human friend.
Is it Nas?
It is not Nas.
Okay.
Pretty sure Chris is human.
Well, I'm sure Nas has more friends than just.
I don't know. Have you met Nas? You know.
Unhuman friend. That's not
A
good.
non-human friend? Okay.
Is it Axes?
It is not Axes.
That's a good one.
We've
This
seen
is going to
Axes.
be another
Oh,
trick
yeah.
question.
This is
Um,
not a trick question. There's been no
non-human
trick.
friend being a frickin' Rashadium. You know what? I'm gonna go with Dalinar because he has a non-human friend of his Rashadium, and he has been in multiple places.
It is not Dalinar.
I'm going to guess Shashara because I think she's in the
Okay.
painting in Shadesmar from the Court of Gods, I think.
And probably went to Roshar. Almost
Okay.
And she
certainly.
probably went to Ushar. And like, she made her own non-human friend.
She did. It is not Shashara.
Okay.
Clue number 3 is this character is female.
Oh, so it's not
No.
Vasher. Okay, yeah, because I was like, oh, it could be Vasher though. Not
I was
Shashara,
thinking
but
Vasher next. Yep.
no.
Yep. Okay.
Female.
Female. And it's not
Multiple
Vivenna,
places.
and it's not Shashara.
Non-human friend. Who's female as a non-human friend?
Yasna?
It is not Yasna. Who's her? Oh, yeah.
Ivory.
Yeah.
Her friend?
Yeah, Spren are
Ooh.
not human. Oh
Man,
man,
that
no.
non-human friend is broad.
it is
Yeah,
actually
That's
really
very
broad.
broad.
I know what the answer is, but in my head I was like, oh, that would probably
Is a
seal the
non-human
deal.
friend a spren?
I can't say.
I mean, you could. You
He's
could.
not-
you
he's
could.
not gonna-
I'm not going
he's
to.
not
Based on
Okay,
his
all
reaction.
right.
His reaction says it's probably not a Spren.
Yeah, I
but
think it's not a spren.
female, been in many places,
Multiple places.
multiple places.
That's different from many.
That's true.
Oh, I have
I'm-
a good one.
I'm going to guess Timber, however you pronounce that.
It
Timber?
is not Timber.
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 You guys.
Venley would be
So-
her non-human friend.
Very accurate.
I like
I'm starting to think about Celish people and Aeons as their non-human friend. And-
Theons, you mean?
No, I don't.
No, if he meant that, he would have
No.
said it.
I mean, yes,
he's
because
just-
Aeons are beings.
Seance.
You said Aeons.
Oh, I didn't.
He said seance.
Yeah, I did.
No.
It's just you.
I heard
you don't.
Aeons.
I
because
don't
you said it
remember.
Yeah, I don't
I
say Aeon or Seon. So yeah, no.
Theo.
Eon.
Theon.
Eon. Eon.
Theon.
So we're waiting on. Are we waiting on Shannon and Eric?
Frick. Lift.
Had
It is
Seons.
not lift.
Okay, just
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Who had Seons?
besides Sereni.
Matisse.
It is not. Matisse.
Matisse.
Matisse. I had no idea what you said.
Oh,
Cool.
sorry.
It's not the character.
Okay. Fine.
Clue number 4.
Okay.
This character has no powers.
Serini.
It is not Serene. Oh wait, I say Serene, don't I? What am I on about? Sorry,
Yeah,
it's
I
not
don't know.
Serene.
You just said like I reflexively pronounce things differently than what people guess.
No powers.
No powers.
That throws us everyone off. You just watch how like this just all of our ideas just
Yeah. I mean, good job, Ori. You're doing really well here.
Yeah.
I thought that this was going to be not that hard.
God.
I need to
Female-
stop saying
so
how
fem-
difficult they are.
Female non-human friend. Multiple places. Has no powers.
It's just because I know the answer. It seems so obvious to me.
Oh, I'm sure it does, Ben. I'm sure it does.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I'm sure you're
Piece of
wondering
crap.
how we are not getting this.
do you want to? There's another reason why to me it's so obvious. Do you want a mini clue?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite characters.
Do I know your favorite character?
That's why it's a mini clue.
I'm just gonna
Do
go
I
with
know-
Eshonai then, because I have no clue.
It's not Eshonai.
Yeah.
He went to places.
Is it? No. See, this is going to give away that besides Eshin, I don't know any of your favorite characters.
It's like
I don't-
he loves Yasna, but I already guessed her,
It has powers.
and she has powers.
She has definitely powers. Oh my god. Non-human friend.
Is
Been in
it
multiple places.
Yatil?
It is not Yatil.
I don't know that she doesn't have powers.
Yeah.
Could.
I was like thinking of, I don't know, does Jebus like her? Ben?
She's alright.
No powers.
No strong feelings either way. Like other than wanting to know what the storm's going on with her.
Yeah, right.
See, now it's sort of like, is this character even human? I've been stuck on that question for like the longest time.
Ooh.
Just don't know what the first clue means. I have no idea.
Does that mean world hopper, or does that mean like is well traveled?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Or how well traveled.
I already had a guess with this clue, haven't I?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What clue are we even on at this point?
I think we're
Four.
Yeah.
4.5 because you got a half clue there.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.5. Is it Syl?
It is not Syl. Right. I swear to God, if you get it now.
All right.
Okay.
This character's eyebrows make Peter Cahaldry's look small.
Oh, Risen.
Risen.
It's risen.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think Ian said that one before I did.
Yeah, I heard Ian say it.
Yeah, I did too. I guess
I
I was
gave
just
up-
like
I
not
gave
guessing.
up before they said it. I was
I
just
guess
like,
I
oh
was
my
just
God.
not guessing Risen because I guessed it previously, or like disregarded it for the previous one.
I
was just
thought
like,
you'd
oh,
go
we
for
already
it
guessed
because you
Risen,
guessed it on the
obviously.
previous.
Yeah, mentally we had already written her off. So it was-
Right.
I just
But we
just forgot about Cheery Cheery as a non-human
Yeah,
friend.
yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
don't forget, what's the name of her grass?
Oh, stupid grass.
It
Stupid grass.
translates to sullen, but
Yeah.
I don't remember the
don't
Thalen word.
No, I don't
Yeah.
remember either. Also, this should have been a clue because Arimus did work on the Risen article, so we really should have clued into that a little sooner. Us Coppermine peeps. I'm like, curses.
the Coppermine people do the best, like such niche.
Clues? Yeah, right.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
like they stumble across great.
When
great
Lady Lameness
Cosmere
sends in
ends.
one, it's like, okay, all right, strap in.
It's like, where's Joffrey when you need us? when you
Strap
need him?
in.
Yeah.
That's when you know you gotta guess based on the person who sent it in, not the
Alright.
quiz.
Right, yeah, right. All right, guys. Well, that was an excellent Who's That Cosmere character, where we really racked our brains, but I'm gonna say I didn't perform because I'm hungry. Okay? Okay?
Didn't you eat a snack?
I had a banana,
Ate food.
Ian. I haven't really eaten today. I had a Soylent and a banana, all right?
Okay, I'm glad you established what that was because in the last poster you were drinking it, and I'm like, are you just drinking like a carton of milk?
No,
I'm like,
no, it's Soylent. It's a meal in a bottle. It's like 400 calories. I only
This
drink
just
that for
in,
breakfast.
Eric is a cannibal.
Yeah. Mhm.
I was gonna say, is it
Yeah, hilarious. No one's
Just like
ever
trying
said
to find
that
like the
before.
way to make that joke like
No one's
What's the-
ever
what's the
said
best
that
way to
joke
land this
before to
one?
me every single time. Yeah, great. How many of us have actually seen the movie Soylent Green?
No.
Yeah,
No.
no. That's what
Also,
I
I don't
thought.
think that's the name of the movie.
Yes, it is. It's
Is
with
it?
Charlton Heston. I haven't seen the whole thing either. I just saw it.
Yeah. I just feel like if you're drinking something called Soylent, you're asking for that joke.
Look, I don't know. You can send your angry emails to apparently you can text Soylent, actually. I thought there would be an email address, but apparently you can text 312-487-3663 about your feelings on Soylent.
Can you say that again?
It's an American one. It's fine.
I have a phone plan that allows me to text and call Americans.
All right.
Don't
Well,
worry,
fine.
all of this will be cut
Have
out
to-
because it's a brand name reference.
This video's been
Oh, yes.
copyright strike. No,
There
so
are- there are
this
other
week's
brands
episode
of
is sponsored
Soylent
by
available.
Soylent. Not really. Give us money, Soylent. I would definitely take a sponsorship.
Hashtag not an ad.
Also, hashtag
Hashtag
not an
could be
ad. Also, I definitely do need more Soylent right now. So if you could go back in time for when this video was recorded and send me about 2 more cartons of it, that'd be great. Because
I
I'm
don't
on my
think I
last
have
one.
that phone plan.
I like how you just ignore that. I'm like, I don't have that phone plan.
He's got a blind skate on this.
All right, well, follow us on 70shard.com where you have news, discussion, theories, everything you would need on Skyward and the Cosmere. What are you doing, Ben?
I'm acting out what
He's
you're saying.
emphasizing. He's emphasizing what you're saying.
No,
Come
you're
to
just
Sky-
going
Come to
crazy
70
like a
Shard.
crazy person. It's this tall. It's this tall. 70 Shard, this tall. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube, smash that subscribe button, and leave us a review on iTunes. And we will see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Call.